Friday night and we feel so good because we have 2 days where we don't gotta work. And to kick those 2 days off, welcome back everybody to another episode of The Good, The Mav, The Ugly. I am your host, Mav, aka Spencer, aka the editor of Bounding Into Comics, aka the Midwaifu Mav, and I'm happy to be hanging out with you on this lovely Friday night. Folks, it has been a week of news. There is a lot, just so much stuff has happened. We have a lot to talk about. As always, I want to welcome you all to The Good, The Mav, The Ugly, the live stream where we hang out here. I talk to you guys. We try to kick off your weekend on something positive. So, what do we have to talk about this week? We've got, obviously, if you caught the thumbnail, there is some development on a Deathstroke Bane project over at DC. So we'll just talk about that real quick. That's sort of just, I mainly picked that story because I needed something for the thumbnail. And hey, any opportunity to use Deathstroke as a graphic, I'm going to go for. There's something about his design that's just so simple and it just works. So we've got that to talk about. We have everything that's happening with Ubisoft. There's so much to talk about around that situation. Lots of misinformation, rage baiting, real true stuff that needs to be talked about. So you guys know me, in the interest of getting through all of the grifting and all that sort of fun stuff. I will break it down. We will be talking about it. Let's see. Oh man. Zero says my volume is kind of low. You keep saying that, but I haven't seen it. So I will continue to boost things up as best as I can. Maybe that'll do something. I do not know, but keep me posted. No idea why my thing would be low. Maybe, let's see, did Windows do its stupid thing again where it just automatically kicks my sound down to low? Okay, Corey says better as well, so something's going on here. What happened? No idea. Windows is being stupid. Yeah, see, Corey says better because it is. I swear I'm not deaf. I don't know what's going on. People have heard me, but I'm glad, again, if you guys hear anything, you see anything wrong, let me know. That's what this is for. I'm here to fix everything. We don't need to go through the entire stream with crappy presentation. Nothing would piss me off more. So yeah, we've got the DC news, we've got Ubisoft news, and of course, whatever might pop up, whatever you guys want to talk about, that's what we're here for. This is a discussion with you guys. I'm here to hang out with you. So in service of all that, let's kick off by saying hello to everybody who's in the chat. I had to restart my OBS real quick before I kicked off, so the early bit of the chat is not here. So I'll just say, Andrew is here. What's going on? My friend and my fellow foil variant co-host, happy to see you. I hope you stick around for a little bit because the stream buddy and the last call are going to be very relevant to your interest, or at least you're the only person I know who understands why I picked both of them. We also have Corey, who just let me know about my microphone. What is going on, Corey? Always a pleasure to see you, my friend. Got Zero. Zero is here. He says he's invisible. I don't know what you mean because I see you perfectly. Like Andrew said, you show up in the chat. I can even throw you up on the screen now. I've got that all figured out. Zero says, I just started Spyro Year of the Dragon. First time ever playing that one. Is that 3, 4? I know I played number 1, and I loved number 1, and I 100%ed number 1 when I was a kid. And then I played number 2, and I beat it. I don't think I 100%ed it. But then I sort of fell off of Spyro. And yeah, so I've never played any of the ones, I think, past maybe 3? I don't, again, my Spyro knowledge. I really wish, do you guys remember when they did the Spyro Crash Bandicoot, like, crossover games for the Game Boy? I wish they would have capitalized on that more. I always think that that's sort of a cool idea. Okay, yeah. Year of the Dragon is Spyro 3. Okay, then I may have played that one, may not have played that one. They all sort of, when you don't revisit those things, they all sort of run together after a certain amount of time. So all I can really say on Spyro is that they're fun. I was always Spyro over Crash Bandicoot, and I miss the Skylanders concept. Not so much Skylanders themselves, but that whole Toys to Life craze that was going on for a little while with the Amiibos and the Disney Infinity and the Skylanders. I kind of really liked it. Maybe that's just me as a collector of things. there's nothing cooler than being able to buy a figure or a collectible and something I can display and also use it in a video game, right? Especially when it's something that can be reused and reused and reused. Like if you, for example, if you went and you bought the Fortnite DC comics or the Fortnite Marvel comics, they come with codes for special gear in Fortnite, but they're one-time use only. And once you use them, gone forever. Doesn't matter if you sell the book to somebody else, you pick it up secondhand, da da da. That if that code's used, it's gone. But if you have like an amiibo or a Disney Infinity figure, if I sold those or I bought one used, I can just pop it onto the dock or whatever, and we're good to go. So yeah, I really, really, really miss the Toys to Life concept, and I also wish Nintendo just did more with them. Honestly, you guys have probably heard me talk in these post-breakup recent weeks about how much I've gotten into Fortnite. So I've been playing that a lot. And you guys know that I love the way all the characters are presented in Fortnite. Everybody in that game, I've said this before and I'll keep saying it until I get quoted somewhere, until this is on the Wikipedia page, I'm going to keep saying it. But every character that shows up in Fortnite looks better and is treated better than they have been in their own respective properties, whether that's a movie, a video game, a comic book, whatever. Everybody, anytime someone comes to Fortnite, they look better. So I kind of wish there was a way. There is an alternate universe out there where Toys to Life was able to sort of mix in a Fortnite type way, where instead of buying skins, you bought figures, and that unlocks your character in the game for you to use. But also, it's not necessarily just a shooter. I don't know if anybody here played Disney Infinity, but it was essentially like the Lego Marvel games or the Lego games in general. So third-person action-adventure, light platformer type things. And it was really fun. It was really fun being able to traverse as Nova or Spider-Man or whomever, Mabel from Gravity Falls. All of that was super cool. Fortnite needs a mode like that. Like, if there was a single-player action-adventure game built on that Fortnite engine, I think we would have a complete winner. But instead, we get Funko Fusion. Have you guys seen that game? The Funko made essentially what I'm talking about, and it's not great. It's very feature bare bone, very not in depth. The best thing I can say for it is that they at least went creative with the character select screen, because it's a bunch of shelves with Funko Pop boxes on them, which I hate Funko Pops. Do not get me wrong; those things are soulless and are probably not worth the plastic that they are being made with, but game got to recognize game, right? Like, you got to give credit where credit is due. I saw it while my sister was watching it on a stream, and I walked by and I was like, oh, that's pretty neat. I can get behind that. So yeah, that's all. That's my rant on Toys to Life stuff, especially because I have so many Disney Infinity and so many amiibos that I just wish there was more for them to do than just sit in a display box eventually when I have the space. So let's see. Is the Skylanders, let's see. Zero asks, is the Skylanders continuity any good? I have genuinely no idea. I have never, ever, ever engaged with the actual Skylanders stuff. I knew they existed because of the toys, and I know that DK and Bowser got like crossover figures on it. So that's all. That's literally where my knowledge goes. So I've heard good things about it, but I don't know. I'm not the Spyro guy. I'm the wrong one to ask about that. Let's see. Spyro over Crash yet didn't know about the third game. Hey, I didn't say I was a hardcore fan. I just said I like Spyro over Crash. That I could do that even if I didn't play any of the games, right? Tehillim is here saying shalom and good to see you all. Good to see you, my buddy. How is it going? Andrew says, I own some of the rarest Skylanders. I don't even know. Are there rare Skylanders? I kind of presumed all of these Toys to Life, save amiibos, of course. I just presume they all got sort of the same print runs. I genuinely know nothing about the Skylanders economy. But by the way, if anybody, if you are ever looking for amiibos, you need to go to Southeast Asia, right? Because I was out in the Philippines, and you can walk into any one of their local game stores, and they don't have, big chain. They have their own stuff. There's a chain called, Data Blitz, Gamer Zone, stuff like that. And every one of these little shops, they've got all the amiibos. It doesn't like what do you want? Do you want the Rosalina one that was Target exclusive that you can't find? Well, they've got it because it wasn't an exclusive over there. Do you want the Xenoblade Chronicles amiibos? They've got them all because nobody ran out and scalped them over there. It's such a bizarre reality. I remember I didn't do it this time, but the last time I was out there in the homeland, I bought a bunch of the Zelda ones because I was like, they're MSRP cheaper because it's the US dollar versus the Philippine peso. And like, why wouldn't I do that? I need to unlock the stuff in what game was it that you unlocked? Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, where you can like tap it and it unlocks the outfits from that game. I was like, I need to get all of those. So if you're ever looking for amiibos, definitely head out there. Yeah, Andrew's right. Amiibo are mostly functionally worthless, and that's what I hate. I hate that they're mainly just bot CPUs, right? Like they're bot copy players. Don't know. And it bums me out because the amiibos are really high quality. There's that one of the Guardian from Breath of the Wild, Breath of the Wild, where its arms can actually like bend, and it's got not pipe. It's like pipe cleaner, whatever you want to call that, the metal that goes into the pipe cleaners, but it's got like that, so you can bend it and pose it. They're all so neat looking, and they're our favorite characters because they're all these Nintendo video games, right? And not so much. I mean, I still buy them. Don't get me wrong. Like when the Sora one dropped, I was rushing out. I was like smashing pre-orders. I had to find that one. So don't get me wrong. But yeah, they are unfortunately just completely worthless. Oh, that's crazy. Some Skylanders got short printed like crazy. I had no idea. I didn't know. I feel like it's what I need at this point is like I'm not going to get into the Skylanders economy because the game's over, nobody's playing it. I can find all those figures, but they need to release like a complete edition. You know what I mean? I think Disney Infinity did it, but just release a complete edition where all of the characters are unlocked. And because if you're not going to support it anymore, just let us have it. At least get some extra money off of that. Maybe you make it so if you have the figure, you unlock a costume, right? And like a good costume, not a palette swap. So if you had, for example, the Captain Jack Sparrow amiibo, you could have the one with him in the pirate hat. And then if you buy that one in the gold complete edition, whatever. And then if you have the amiibo, you can tap him. Or if you have the Infinity figure, you tap him and you get him with like the bandana, like his stranded shipwrecked look. I don't know what you want to call it. But yeah, so no idea what's going on with the Skylanders, but I wish that was something that I knew anything about. Zero meant the games, not the continuity. I don't know anything. Again, no idea about it. I know that it lasted just as long as every other Toy to Life thing, and it was apparently popular enough where I know kids were playing it. I know it got merchandise and I think like an animated show. So somewhat, it's got to have done somewhat decently okay, right? Zero, I know you are the one who needs to go play and report that back because you're the one who always has all the time to play video games, check them out. So that's your mission, Zero. Go play Skylanders. I don't even know how you do it because whatever. That's your mission, okay? Go find a way to play Skylanders and get back to us. Tehillim says, still watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure anime on Netflix, also enjoying Ippo the Fighter. Where are you in JoJo so far? I know that you were, I believe, getting into the start of Stardust Crusaders the last time we talked, last week. Knowing you and the way you truck through things, Tehillim, because I follow all of your content on YouTube, I feel like you've probably got to be somewhere, if not through the beginning of Stardust Crusaders, like at the very start of it. So I'm glad you are. I will recommend JoJo's till the day I die, until the day I don't breathe anymore. Jingo, what is going on? Yes, I saw your DM. I will get back to you later. I haven't sat down to do work today. I had a bunch of other errands to take care of before I got to work. Let's see. Yeah, exactly, Andrew. I think that's what happened to me. The most recent Windows update futzed with my audio as well. Oh, good news. Do you guys remember last week when the screen was super dark when I was trying to share everything with you guys, and I had no idea what was going on. Turns out that's a Windows update thing. So we fixed it. When we eventually flip over to look at stuff, we will be able to see it instead of it looking like a modern movie where you have to turn the brightness up 400% just to see the credits. Talem says, still in part 3 around episode 10 to 12. Dang. Okay, yeah, so you're still really, really, really early on in Stardust Crusaders. I like Stardust Crusaders. It's a good one. Probably, I mean, there's a reason, right, why that one is the poster child for JoJo. Like, Jotaro is awesome. Seeing Joseph come back's awesome. So you're in for a treat. And this is one of those series that does the thing I really like, which is instead of just, oh, I'm more powerful than you, now I can win. It's, okay, how do I use my power in a strategic way to take out the other person? Because that other person is just as strong, or they have a weakness, or I'm weak to them, or something like that. So JoJo has one of the best ways of doing that, especially as you get into the stand using. So I'm excited for you to get there. I'm excited to keep talking to you as you read it and you get into it. Let's see. That's pretty much it for the chat nowadays. Let's see. What do we want to talk about first? I guess let's just jump into the headline topic of the stream. You saw it in the thumbnail. You saw it in the Blues Brothers referencing headline. Or actually, here. This is... Jingo just dropped a comment. Let's talk about this real quick before we dive into that movie. Jingo says, did you see the Thunderbolts trailer? It looks like they're just aping the Suicide Squad movie. So, yeah, let's pull that up, and just so we have something to look at while we're talking. Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts, asterisk. Thunderbolts. Oh, that is so loud. So what's crazy, if you saw that leaked trailer from a couple months ago, it's the exact same leaked trailer. So, like, I was like, ooh, new thing. And I hit play, and I was like, wait a minute. You guys already showed us this. And then it took me like 2 minutes to realize, like, oh, wait, that was a leak. They didn't technically show us this. So let's flip over to our other setup, our other screen. Come on, kids. Let's jump to, what do we want? We want our web talk. So the reason I set that up is because I want to start, before we get into the Thunderbolts talk, I want to talk about our little stream buddy today. So our little stream buddy, as you can see down there, he's a cute little dog. He's a cute little pup. But the reason I know if Andrew was still here, he knows exactly where this is from, why I chose it. Just don't worry, Jingo, we're going to get to the Thunderbolt stuff. I'm just doing this real quick. But in this week's issue of Zombiettes, the Venomore tie-in, they, She-Hulk, Shocker, Overdrive, all of them, they go take up residence in the bar with no name. And the bar with no name owner has a little pup. And she's, oh, look, Sparky, such a cute little boy. And then as the issue keeps going, they bring zombie Patsy into the bar. And then he gets symbioted. They get symbioted. I can't do it. I was reading this book, and so if you know me, I believe I've mentioned it many times before. I am a big softie when it comes to animals. Like, insane softie. When I was younger, for a short stint, I wanted to be a doctor, right? And that's because I wanted to be able to help people and all that sort of stuff. And people would always ask me, why do you want to work on people? Isn't that so torturous? Like, you have to talk to them and see their pain. Why don't you be a vet? And I always told them, like, at least people can talk to me. Like, animals, just, they make little sounds like that. They can't do it. They're looking to you for help. It's all heartbreaking. So yeah, seeing Sparky get stream buddied out, or not stream buddied, symbioted out, made me very sad. And I hope, so the issue ends with the dog just being sprayed by soda by the kids, or beer, depends. I don't know what, I think that one's soda. But I hope Sparky lives. I was like, no. It was one of those moments where I was like, don't you do it. Don't you dare get the dog. Don't you dare. Oh, you got the dog. How dare you. Cannot handle it. Exactly. See? Sparky, no! Oh, it's so heartbreaking. So let's hope the third issue, or how many ever, well, next issue is issue 3. I don't know how many this is running for max. Probably 3, because the event, I think, is almost, I think we're midway through it. So let's hope at some point Sparky gets de-zombieated because he's the goodest boy. Look, he's just hanging out. This is a sad little boy. This is a sad little boy. And then yes, Jingo, Shocker. Asking why is Shocker black now? Shocker's always been black. Herman's always been a black guy. You just never ever see it because A, his name's Herman, so you never would assume it, and B, he's always hidden behind the full body Shocker suit. So there was a second Shocker as well who was a white guy, but I'm pretty sure he's been dead for like a long time. The second one, like since the 90s. So that's where we are. That's why Sparky here. Rest in symbiote Sparky, but that is why he is our stream buddy tonight. Timon, hey, what is going on? It's not a Good Mav Ugly without our boy Timon rounding out the Brazilian duology with Zero. What's going on, buddy? Was waiting to see you. Zero says, I gotta admit, I don't remember ever seeing Shocker outside his mask. Yeah, because they don't really do it a lot. His whole thing is the full body, and then he was never. So when Shocker was first introduced, there was no interpersonal drama there, right? So there was no reason to show him outside of his suit. He would show up, he'd fight Spidey would beat him, and then Spidey would swing away to go do something else, and the cops would deal with Shocker. Then we would get back, 2-3 more issues. Stan Lee would write. Shocker's back out on the street for whatever reason, and he's just fighting again. And we all sort of know that in Spider-Man's history, up until probably the 90s cartoon that Jingo was referencing, Shocker was very much the villain you fight in the cold open to your movie. He's not the main villain. He's just sort of a quick threat to let the hero have a fight scene against. So that's how he always was for a long time. In recent years, they've been giving him more and more character development. If you guys haven't read it, I would definitely recommend the Sinister Foes of Spider-Man series from a couple years back. Or did I say Sinister? Superior Foes of Spider-Man series. That series from a couple years back is incredible. Cannot recommend it enough. It's a lot of inter-team dynamic sort of stuff about a gang of losers who all have conflicting ideas. So I would definitely highly recommend that run if you are in the mood for something superhero adjacent, but not quite superhero-y. Let's see. Jingo says, no, Herman was shown with no mask and was white. All right, let's double check this because I am like 90% sure Shocker was always black. Because, yeah, there's that second... there's a second Shocker who is... Where is it? I'm looking at the wiki right now so I can look up all the different Shockers that existed. Could have sworn there were two Shockers at some point. Oh, that is who the other Shocker was for. Wait, am I crazy here? I'm just looking through all this stuff now. Randall, Darby. I know Montana was in the cartoon. I know in the Ultimate Universe, Shocker was white. Let's see. Shocker, white. White guy comics. All I'm getting right now are like boards. Oh yeah, I guess you were right. I totally take the L on that one. Herman was for a little bit white. So let me no, Montana was never Shocker in the comics, and he actually wasn't in that wasn't him in Homecoming who got it, but yeah, he was Shocker in the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon. And then yeah, where am I right now? Jump over to web. Yep, there's Shocker. There's OG Shocker. I was completely wrong. So I have no answer for you. I've always presumed Shocker was black. I have no idea why. And this is coming from somebody who's been reading comic books forever. Right? Exactly. With a name like Herman Schultz, that's why it always stood out to me. That always made it sort of a quirk to me. Maybe there's, I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe Marvel's just at it again. But yes, so let's get over to. Oh, we're already on web. Let's talk about. Where is it here? What window were we sitting on? All right. So, Thunderbolts. I'm not going to lie. So, like most of us, we're all probably kind of burnt out on the MCU. Deadpool and Wolverine, for those of you who did like it, I know that if you're like me, it's kind of considered the last hurrah, the real last hurrah of the MCU, right? Like, after all, we had Endgame, things kind of went downhill, we got No Way Home, then we got Deadpool and Wolverine, and that's probably going to be one of the last few entertaining things we see out of the MCU. So, yeah, that's what I think is. I think that's what is happening, Jingo. I think he was probably black, and they started drawing, or he was tan, and they started drawing him as black, and it just sort of muddled together. I wouldn't say he even looks outright black right now. Like, even in this comic, he's still. I would still consider. Let's see, where's his mask off? It's near the end. Because. Like, I still wouldn't consider him like black here, but this one he definitely looks way more black, even more than he did in Superior Foes. Because that's what I was gonna say is in Superior Foes, I felt like they were still going for that tan black look or like the tan darkness, but this one they're really going black with him there. So back to Thunderbolts. So yeah, I don't really have what am I trying to say here? So. I don't know, guys. I'm kind of struggling to even want to criticize this movie because really, I don't give three shits about it, right? Like, it is... Okay, don't get me wrong. I love Florence Pugh. That's my Hollywood waifu. I think she looks gorgeous. She always does. Yay that. Everything else from this trailer, I don't really care anymore. Jingo is right that they are really trying to make their own version of the Suicide Squad. Right? And okay, so like this to me, this whole fight scene right here just feels too coordinated. Like, I know there's a bunch of cool moves happening, but it feels like none of this really happens unless you set up the fight to work just like this. And I don't know, that kind of bothers me because it just feels so forced. But yeah, this is clearly that Marvel trying to do their own take on the Suicide Squad. I don't know why. Suicide Squad was not that big of a hit. They're not even doing anything that unique sort of with the concept of it. I really do wish this was like the comic book Thunderbolts, where it was a bunch of villains trying to trick the world into thinking they were heroes and being led by Zemo and all that stuff. I think that makes for way better and intrigue and a more interesting plot altogether. I can almost get, like, this movie... I don't know. You guys can easily tell right now I am struggling over here to even find anything to say about it. Like, the characters are all boring. I like John Walker. I like the U.S. agent, but who cares about Ghost? Who really cares about White Widow? Again, I love Florence, but who cares about White Widow? Who cares about who was the other one there? There was another member. Not Sentry. I feel like there's somebody else in the room. Right? Isn't there a fourth person I'm missing? Ghost? Oh, Taskmaster. They just look the exact same. So you have Taskmaster. Nobody cares about these characters except for maybe U.S. Agent, right? I don't know. There's nothing here for me to talk about. Like, it's just boring. Okay, yeah, they gender swapped Ghost and Taskmaster, but we've talked about that before. This isn't new. They did that in Ant-Man and the Wasp and Black Widow. So that's really not new. So yeah, Zemo was already screwed up. They could have not screwed him up. They could have, even with the cards we've been dealt with, his appearance in Civil War and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you still could have had that whole Citizen V plot line. You could have even tied it into he got the idea while working with Bucky and Sam in Madripoor and stuff. But yeah, like, there's just nothing to talk about here. I will be interested to see what the Sentry looks like because I'm a big Sentry fan. I have been ever since Bendis introduced him way back in the New Avengers. I have all of that original run, by the way. I was reading comics during that run. So, like, I think the only one I don't have is New Avengers like 1 or 2. I think like that's all I don't have of that original New Avengers run. That's just a moment of a humble brag. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to do that for me. But yeah, like this movie, there's just nothing to really write home about. Yeah, in 2025, Oh, hey, that was neat. I didn't notice that. That's a neat little Easter egg. Look, it's the Loki sphere or staff. I'm guessing. Oh, this is sort of neat. It's like a big exhibit for the Battle of New York. So these are all probably different, like Chitauri artifacts or whatever. That's a neat little piece of film design. But yeah, again, aside from that, there's nothing here. Oh, I forgot Red Guardian's in this. I kind of like Red Guardian. David Harbour was easily the best part of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or Black Widow. And it really makes me upset because, like, I want a solo Bucky project. They should have done a Bucky Cap thing, or they should have put more emphasis on him in the solo series. But like, I feel bad because I know that there are people more like me, or more so than me, who are fans of Bucky, who are going to get shafted yet again. He's going to take the second, like not even second seat. He's going to be the 6th seat in this entire thing. He's just thrown in there because people are going to, if he wasn't, people would go, oh, where's Bucky? Like, where is Bucky? Okay, Zero, it's not fake Black Widow. It's just a different Black Widow. Okay, this isn't an argument. That's the entire thing about Black Widow. Black Widow is not her code name. It's a unit of people. It's like saying a Spartan. You wouldn't look at a new Halo entry and go, oh, look, fake Master Chief. You would just go, oh, a different Spartan. Okay, first off, what's up, Primal One? Nice to see you. Hail to you. Always loving any mention of Optimus Primal that comes down the pipeline. Yeah, this film will be trash. It's not even following the damn comics. What's the point of calling it Thunderbolts? Bucky solo film would be way more interesting than this trash. The point of this film is cheap marketing. Or let me rephrase that. The point of this film is cash grabbing. The people who greenlit this film, remember, this thing was greenlit and put into production during that era where everything was being greenlit. Marvel was just going green light happy because they thought that they were untouchable, and that everything they do would result in a massive win for them. And so that's where this came from. They saw Suicide Squad. They saw DC trying to push that. They said, how can we get our own piece of that pie? They grabbed all the characters who weren't really doing anything right now, and they said, let's go. Because, yeah, there's nothing here is connected to anything remotely comic book Thunderbolts related. It's not heroes or villains trying to be heroes. It's not a team of villains posing as Avengers to be sort of a Gestapo-like law enforcement agency like they were during Dark Avengers. They're not a strike force operated by a overall director like they were under Norman Osborn. They're not even a special ops team assembled by Thunderbolt Ross. These guys are all just, they exist. So it's not, there's just nothing here. I'm right there with you, Primal One. Like to the core. I just, what are we gonna get? I just, and again, like I like, even in this shot, I like 4 out of the 5 characters. I would love to see more John Walker, more Bucky, more Yelena and Red Guardian, but it's not. There's just no interesting thing here, sort of grappling them together. I don't know. It all feels really thin to me. Obviously, I will see it because I unfortunately have to. That's my freaking job. Like, I only see bad things nowadays, guys. I don't remember the last time I saw something good. Oh, I take that back. I actually did get to catch earlier this week Transformers 1. It's pretty good. I don't think I'm on the super big hype train that everybody else is, but I had some decent fun watching it. It's very, very like artistically beautiful. That's probably the best part about it, is that the animation, the set pieces, the backgrounds, it's just very, very beautiful. But yeah, so at least I got to see Transformers 1, but most of the time I'm watching just terrible stuff because I have to know what we're talking about. I watched The Acolyte, right? I watched The Acolyte. I watched Loki. I watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Thankfully, I'm not watching Agatha, but it seems that the only reason I'm not, pardon me, is because roundly it seems like nothing's going on in that show. And that's not just coming from people in our sphere, but that's coming from fans, like actual still Marvel fans. They're just sort of like, I'm not hearing, when there's no noise around a show, that's just really bad, right? For She-Hulk's sake, it was bad. It was terrible. It's going to be a stain on their legacy. But in showbiz terms, there's no such thing as bad press, and people were talking about She-Hulk. That got them to have a lot of press opportunities and go out and talk about their ideology and all that stuff. This, nobody is saying anything about Agatha. Everybody's just like, it's there. All right. So, like, just disastrous. Hands down. So, yeah, like, there's just nothing here that seems that interesting. Except for, like, the Bucky stuff. Like this. I don't know what the sequence is, but we saw that, and then there's this thing where he hooks up a cable to the truck. Or he shoots out the winch, and then he grabs the winch, and he flips a freaking Humvee. That's the sort of stuff I want to see. I don't really care about intrigue or any of that stuff. I do. It's so hard for me to really form any sort of positive desire to see Thunderbolts. If I did not have a job watching media, this would be something I would completely wait for until long after it hit home video. Right? It would be that thing that I'd have to be at like a friend's house and we're all bored and they go, hey, have you guys ever watched Thunderbolts? It's not bad. And you go, okay, why not? And everybody just sort of kicks back and it's on. And I'd watch it then, but I don't know. Just nothing great. I am happy that Lewis Pullman is playing the Sentry though, because A, it's not a race swap or any of that stuff, which is what they were trying to do. But B, more than Stephen Yeun and oh my gosh, Ao Obari. I never know how to say her name right. She's the lady from the Bear, the FX show. Those two don't embody the character right. Sentry as a human, when he's not Sentry, is supposed to be this neurotic, drug-addled disaster of a human being. So he's supposed to be very frail, very like a junkie. And I think Lewis Pullman looks like that, right? We all saw his sort of timid act in Top Gun Maverick as Bob, but let's see, where is he right there? So I think like this, that's a better choice for Bob. I'm a little worried here because it kind of feels like they're playing him Tom Holland-y style, and he also looks a lot like Tom Holland here. And I really hope they don't do that to his character because I'm sick of. Like all of us, again, I'm not discovering any Americas here, but I'm sick of just detached irony. I want a character taken seriously. I don't want a character whose entire existence can always be boiled down to like oh, look at him. He's being loony or whatever. Like, just give me Sentry. It can be so well done and it can give you so many things. And I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. Also, the team lineup is just boring. Here, let's go back to that roster shot. I know that they were all standing around at one point. Where was it? Okay, everybody's in this shot except for Taskmaster. No idea where Taskmaster is. But you have Taskmaster, Super Soldier, Black Widow, Super Soldier, U.S. Agent, Super Soldier, Bucky, Super Soldier, Red Guardian, Super Soldier, Ghost, Intangibility. I don't know, man. That doesn't seem like a very fun team lineup to me. Where nobody here has any special powers. The most special power you get is John Walker being able to throw his shield, or I guess Taskmaster being able to visually copy somebody. So you guys will have to wow me. I'm not expecting to be wowed anytime soon. She doesn't have to be a redhead. She's not Nat. Yeah, exactly. She's not Nat. She's a different Widow. So I'm completely okay with it. Yeah, Primal One. Timon says a Black Widow colors are black and red. A blonde Black Widow makes no sense. Okay, so this to me feels like nitpicking because even in the comics, the Black Widow, the widows that came out of the Red Room, it wasn't you're all going to wear black and red. It was you are femme fatales. You're supposed to go out and seduce people. So they had dark-skinned widows. They had light-skinned widows. They had Asian widows. They had blonde widows, redheads, brunettes, blondes. It's all about, are you attractive? That's like number one requirement for the Red Room because they need the lithe, attractive women to be able to infiltrate. Black Widow movie should have had Bucky and flashbacks to him training her. There's a lot of things that needed to be fixed with that movie, and that was one of them. You needed him and you needed Hawkeye. Like, I can't believe they didn't have any Hawkeye at all, considering that they build up that friendship so much in the MCU. Yep, completely, complete instant flop. Jingo asks, isn't it filled with the he's behind me, isn't he type humor? So far from what we're seeing, yes. Which is why I don't have any hope that they're going to treat the Sentry right or they're going to treat any of this fun. And part of me wonders, and this is, I know I am admittedly being super generous here. I wonder how much there exists a possibility that if we watch this movie, it isn't as he's right behind me, isn't he, as we think it is. But this trailer is cut up in that typical Marvel fashion where it opens on that beat, on like a humor beat. Its middle part is a humor beat, and its ending is a humor beat. So that's what they're putting forward in the trailer. It's not going to instill us with any confidence. I mean, the joke right here. Here, I'll even freaking unmute it.
It's bulletproof-ish!
Whoop.
Don't worry, she's bulletproof. What happened to bulletproof? It's bulletproof-ish!
Is that Bucky?
He's so cool. But yeah, see, like that, not doing it for me, guys. This humor doesn't work anymore. Do you really want to? It's so bizarre that they decide, like, they know this is a problem. They know this is what we all criticize all the time. And yet Marvel goes, we do want to lean into this and make this our identity. We do want to be the, he's right behind me company. They want that. And it's so insane to me. I have no explanation for it, except for the fact that everybody at the top here completely disconnected from the average moviegoer. They're too stuck in their sales predictions and charts to know what people actually want to watch. Primal One says, speaking of Thunderbolts, I have volume 2 of the series sitting in my storage right now. It is amazing. Got it years ago at a comic shop on sale. Bagley's art rocks in the series. Writer is cooking too. Oh man, that original Thunderbolts run where with Citizen V and Bagley and on art and everything, I forget who wrote it, and it makes me sad because I think it's Fabian Niceska. Again, you guys know me, I can never pronounce that guy's name, even though he's written a bunch of things that I love. Here, I can look it up super quick because I have everything organized on my computer. Yeah, here, click. Who's the writer? It's Busiek. It's Kurt Busiek. Even better, even more of a stamp. Mid or 90s era, 90s to early 2000s era Kurt Busiek. You cannot go wrong by picking up a comic by that guy. Yeah, Primal One, what Agatha series? That's kind of what everybody is sort of saying. I am so excited for the Nielsen ratings to come down for this show because I can't imagine that they're going to be good by any metric. Yep, Timon's hit it on the head. Not one of them is a Thunderbolt. No, I think Ghost was on the Thunderbolts during Ellis's run when they were the Norman Osborn strike team, but that's it. Like that there is nobody else. None of these other guys have appeared in a Thunderbolts book except. They did the stupid thing that Marvel always does, the movie synergy thing that I always complain about, where late last year, they launched a new Thunderbolt series, and it was like Bucky teams up with, who was it? White Widow. Yeah, pretty much everybody in this trailer. White Widow, U.S. Agent, Sharon Carter as whatever she is now with the stupid gold skull mask. And they got together to fight Valentina, or the Contessa, or whichever one of these 400 female Nick Fury love interests that Elaine is playing here. So they did that last year, and so now everybody can go, oh, look, they were in the comic books. They were a team. What do you expect? Yeah, this video is a DVD thing. Went at a friend's party, and it happens to be there. Bingo, 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 Primal One. And then, like, you maybe, like, you grab a drink, and you get wrapped up in it for maybe, like, 15, 20 minutes, right? And then you go, oh, yeah, there's other things going on. And then you go party. Yep, you totally hit on the same note as me, Primal One. No one did any thinking. This team is mostly super soldiers. Most of these doofies is the same archetype of hero. And you're expecting me to believe that they're going to take down Sentry. It's just, I feel like that's asking me to stretch or suspend my disbelief too much. Just, especially when you started the MCU as like a grounded alternative to the comic books. I'm going to imagine that if Superman could crash down through the ceiling, he's just going to step on small blonde girl with guns. That's just, it's not the. Yeah, this is going to be a hard sell. Don't know how it's going to work out. Good luck with it. I also wanted to point out, hopefully I don't get dinged for this, but you guys, I'm going to play like 5 seconds of it, I guess. But
Look at you. So adorable.
Hear that? Another minor key cover of a pop song. This time it's the Pixies' Where Is My Mind? And I'm just like, stop, Hollywood. You're so predictable. At this point, when I see a movie trailer and it's for something big and like a Warner Brothers release, a Disney release or whatever, I just count the minutes or like the seconds until they hit that minor key note. And it gets me every single time. And you know where I first noticed that trend? It was Age of Ultron, where they actually did it pretty cool, where they did the Pinocchio, the no strings like attached or like the no strings on me. They used that musical, what's it called? Oh my gosh, it's not like a theme. The musical, whatever. You guys know what I mean, like the musical theme or whatever. And that was pretty cool. But then they just keep doing that in every movie because it worked out that one time. And now we can go check almost any trailer that's not an outright like comedy. Like Free Guy doesn't do it, but every other movie, Agatha did it, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness did it. Every movie trailer these days does minor key pop songs, and I cannot stand it. Hey, Shinkai is here. Yes, there's my boy. How's it going, Shinkai? A pleasure to see you. Shinkai asked, will Bucky get to do something? Probably not. No, that's I don't know how long you've been here, but that's sort of when Jingo got us on the topic of Thunderbolts early on. That was sort of my takeaway, was Bucky's not going to do anything. We've already seen him get shafted in Falcon and not Black Widow, in Falcon and oh my gosh, what did I just said whatever he got shafted in. But either way, Bucky, we all know this. Bucky keeps getting completely sidelined, given nothing to do. And so I don't really, from just sort of pattern recognition, seeing all the people we have on the team and knowing that this is a Hollywood script, I feel like we can put some pieces together, right? So let's move away from this Humvee. We'll go to them. Obviously, like, you have Florence Pugh. That's your lead. She's going to be doing most of the stuff. You have John Walker, who is the curmudgeon-y one of the group. So he's going to be in it a lot because he's going to be the guy who keeps, like, bringing everybody down and plays the heel, essentially. Like, you guys all suck. We're not doing it right. You're not willing to go as far. Like, he's going to be that guy. Then you'll have Red Guardian, who, considering, he's going to be the comic relief. We know that. But he's also going to be very heavily featured because he's Yelena's dad. So they're going to focus on that relationship a lot. I know they saw the notes from Black Widow. If you guys saw that movie, there's that scene in the very middle where Red Guardian and, like, when they're on the run Red Guardian and Yelena sort of have a moment to themselves, and they talk about like, where did you go? Why did you abandon us? And that scene is actually surprisingly good. It's framed well, it's shot well, it's acted well, the dialogue, the writing, it's all pretty damn good. So, and that's, most people praised that moment, or that like the production of that scene. I guarantee you they saw that feedback and are going to go, oh, they like Yelena Red Guardian, just put them in more scenes together. That's because that's sort of, remember, they only surface level read everything that's going on. They, for example, we talked about it a couple weeks ago, but for the longest time, I've been saying they're going to learn the wrong lessons from Deadpool and Wolverine. It's going to do well. I said this even before the movie came out. I said the movie was going to do well. It's going to remind people about what like superhero movies are fun, what's fun about them, and it's going to, and Marvel's going to look at it and go, oh, that's how to save the MCU. But instead of thinking we need to care about what we're working on, we need to put some actual attention, they're just going to go, people like multiverse. Lo and behold, what did we get? Like 2 weeks ago, we got the updated rumor that the next Spider-Man movie is going to be a freaking multiverse movie in a big change from what it was supposed to be, which was the previous rumors held it as a street level movie, and now it's not. So yeah, given all that, they're going to learn the wrong lesson and put Red Guardian there just to have him on there. Ghost and Taskmaster are probably, these are my toss-ups. Because they can go one of two ways. They can either just be the sort of ancillary teammates, the Hawkeye and Black Widow of the team who are there and have some scenes but aren't really the primary focus. Or, considering they're both women and considering, the backlash to the swapping, the gender swapping of Taskmaster and stuff, they either not sideline them, but give them a reduced role, because like a support role, or they are the secondary like B plot emotional crux to the movie, is like them being a good person again, something like that, right? So considering that all of that stuff is potentially in play, we ask ourselves the question, what does Bucky have to offer? Bucky is cool. We like him as a character, don't get me wrong, but he doesn't have an actively open storyline. He was never set up for anything more in the future after Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He just said like, okay, I'm going to apologize for killing the Asian guy's son, and now that's the end of my story. So given all of that, and the fact like I was talking about, that even in things like Endgame or Infinity War or Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Bucky was sort of just there. I think Bucky's not going to have anything to do. He's going to have a couple cool set pieces, right? Like the truck and everything. But I think most of this movie is going to focus on literally everybody else. I would be interested to see what kind of screen time Bucky gets compared to all these other characters. I also wonder if they'll kill him off, because what's Sebastian Stan doing nowadays anymore? Oh, Jingo was asking. I was talking about Transformers 1 with he's right behind me, isn't he, comment? Yes and no. It's got bits of that, but they don't ever pop up in like the more serious emotional moments. The Bumblebee character has probably more of that humor, but he's more of the like LOL so random. Like, oh, look, I built my own friends out of junk, and I think they're alive. And, ooh, look how cool I am with my knife hands. Oh, look, knife hands. That got really annoying. But I also have to keep in the context that it is a kid's movie, so maybe that hits with the younger audience. But to your question, Jingo, Transformers 1 does that sort of ironic humor way less than your average Marvel production, which is saying something, right? Marvel productions are supposed to be for, at best, let's say, PG plus audiences, right? 10-year-olds up, and it treats their audiences with, those movies treat audiences with less respect than a animated Transformers movie for the like 10 and under demographic. So yeah, it's got some humorous moments, but as long as you sort of remember that it is a kid's first movie, they are more tolerable. Doesn't make them great. Like, you won't like them, but you'll be able to tolerate them more. Jingo says Bucky should still look like he looked in the Winter Soldier movie. The hair should look like it did then and not now, and no stubble. So yeah, I actually do kind of agree with that. I'm not against the stubble. I like the stubble because that's an easy way to communicate somebody's on hard times, the ruggedness. But I do think his hair is a little too clean. Where's a better shot of Bucky? Like right here. Yeah, it's a little too. In Winter Soldier and Infinity War, Endgame and stuff, when he had his long shaggy hair, it felt like that was hair that he had grown out because he was like, didn't care, he was on the run, whatever, right? This feels like he went and got a long haircut. Like he went to a stylist and said, I have long hair, style it for me, please. So he doesn't look like the Bucky soldier that we all know and love. Yep, this is why we can't get superhero films anymore unless it's fan fiction. Hollywood morons will ruin them for no reason, then gaslight the audience for not supporting, liking it. That's, you know, that's going to happen here. Like, that's why they'll put, that's what is really fueling my suspicion about Taskmaster and Ghost, is that Disney can't help themselves from using, to borrow a term from my good friend Kevin Apollo, the ebony shield. They can't stop using, you know, women, not basically anyone non-white, non-male, non-straight. They'll throw them out in front to make sure that they can head off those criticisms. Because then it's, oh, you didn't just like the movie, you didn't like the movie because it had a female lead, right? Blah 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 blah. So all annoying, but no, I definitely agree. We will. Is it gaslighting if they're not successful? Let me ask you that question. That's been you just made me think of that, Primal, because they try to gaslight everybody, but I don't really know anybody who buys that narrative, right? I for example, I have a lot of friends who are, we would consider them normies. They don't care about culture war stuff. It's so far removed from their life. They just don't care. But they, you know, when I go hang out with them and they hear things on the news and we talk or we get beers, they always talk about, you know, like, what, I heard people are like racist against this movie, and I go like, no, they're not racist. It's just they didn't like it, da-da-da. And they go, so what are they even complaining? Are we not allowed to like movies anymore? So I don't even know if they're being successful with this. Shinkai says, also, I get they are Thunderbolts, maybe darker, but what happened to the colors? Red Guardian looks like a gray Guardian, or maybe just the scene. So I think what you're looking at, I think you're talking about where he looks when he's standing here. So I think what you're seeing, Shinkai, is a twofold problem. One, Hollywood is just allergic to colors. You're not allowed to have fun saturation anymore. I mean, remember they locked Spider-Man's shiny spandex costume behind the very end of No Way Home. Everything else, you had to get that muddied sort of spider armor. So there's this weird perception in Hollywood that darker black, like, look at going back way to the 2000s, it's the X-Men movie mentality where super suits are stupid. Audiences want real, and that means black and dark and make them look like special operative agents. When that doesn't really work, because as an audience, we go into certain genres understanding the rules of that world, right? So you go into a superhero movie understanding that in their world, all of this is normal. Like flying people are normal. Colorful suits are normal. In a superhero world, there's no opportunity for somebody to go like, you're really wearing that? Like, oh my gosh. Everybody, if you're writing superheroes, theoretically, they should go, if somebody comes out in a new spandex suit, unless they're saying like, it looks bad because it's a bad designed suit, nobody should be going like, you're wearing spandex, you're wearing a superhero suit. So that they're missing that point. And it's not just superhero movies, right? We go into sci-fi movies understanding, oh, they found the technology to do hyperspace drive. Or you go into a medieval movie and you go, oh, maybe that attack wasn't completely accurate, but we understand that in this setting, in this movie, that's what they're going for. And so yeah, that's one of the problems. And the second problem is Hollywood just makes everything fucking dark nowadays. right? Like everything is just super, super, super fucking dark. And this isn't even talking about the meme dark people like Zack Snyder. This is in your average production. You can't see shit. Like, here, let me pull this up real quick because this is probably one of the better examples I can give of it off the top of my head. But let's just pick a random episode, right? It's
Last night.
any of this. Oh, that's so loud. I don't need that blaring in my ear like that. Okay, maybe that episode doesn't work because okay, this one will work. So, let me pull this up. All right, so we are going to switch on over to this. So this is an episode. This is the first episode of The Acolyte, right? And I keep in mind I have. Whoa! Why is my video player all the way like shorted down? That's super weird. Let me fix that for y'all real quick while we talk about this. Woof! So large. But okay, so. You can see that they are outside in a snowstorm. It's still sort of hard to see them. And here she is in a forest. It's really hard to make out what is going on in the background around her. So I couldn't tell you what it is. Like production quality in Hollywood has just, and I also want you guys to keep in mind, this is with my settings, my personal settings boosted so that I can freaking see it. And we're still barely getting a lot of the image out of this. So there is it's just a really weird thing that Hollywood in recent years, their production quality has just torpedoed. It's impossible to hear things. Like you guys, I know everyone out there knows the sound mixing problem where you go watch a movie, everything is super loud, like all the explosions, all the guns, and then you get to like a dialogue point, and then you won't know what they say until you go home, buy it on Blu-ray, pop it in your player, hit the subtitles, and go look at that scene. And then, yeah, there's the darkness and everything. It's just, Hollywood is a general mess. And I mean, we all saw the Minecraft trailer, right? That shot of Jack Black, here, we can pull it up because we have the internet. Minecraft. How much dedicated wham do I need to want a Minecraft server? Dedicated wham. This shot, the big meme shot, everybody. The I am Steve, right? So if you'll notice, the lighting in both these characters are talking to each other. So it's Jack Black talking to this group of people. But the lighting in this scene for both groups is coming from behind them. It doesn't make sense. If the light's coming from behind them right here, Jack Black should not have it also beaming directly from behind him as well. So this is just, I bring this up not to necessarily trash on the Minecraft movie. We already know it's going to be bad, but to prove Hollywood doesn't really, there is a big problem with production quality or care, if you will, in Hollywood, and it's running rampant, and you see it a lot in these problems, Shinkai, with darkness, with colors and costumes, and it's just, I think we're all right there with you. It's not great at all. Yeah, Andrew's right there. Guardian is the only one there with any real color on him, and it's kind of a shame because that you could have. Whoop, that's what we wanted. Go back. You could have. I keep going back to this one shot.
Look at you.
Everybody here could have had some color, and it would have really set them, like, it would have really made them pop. Even Ghost and Taskmaster, you could have given them blues. You could have kept Ghost white, and I think that would have been super sick to balance out all the black Spec Ops. So, yeah, it's a production level failure. It's fear of taking your material seriously. It's typical Marvel. Yeah, Shinkai pointed it out. John has the flag on him, and it couldn't look more dull. I mean, you were the one to say it, Shinkai. He looks like Grey Guardian. Primal One with we're having sort of two conversations here, and don't worry, I'm active in both of them. Happy to have both of them. Transformers 1 looks like too much of a kids movie and not enough like a Transformers focused film. So I will I agree with your read. I don't think you're wrong. It is much more of a kids oriented movie, but I sort of challenge that idea that it's more of a kids movie than a Transformers movie, because to me Transformers has always been for kids. So anything Transformers-y is always going to inherently be for kids. I think to make us both I think what we want to say and where we both agree is that this is way kiddie. Like it's not like for children, it's very kiddie. And I think everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about right there. I think even just the mention of having Keegan-Michael Key voicing a version of Bumblebee who just like, look at my knife hands, like, look at that, woo! Like, that is very much kiddie. Yeah, that's what you got from the trailer. Pretty spot on. Shocker was from the Pillsbury clan. Volume dealer, what's going on? Yep, I knew you would be here, and you would know that as well as me. Ghost is the only character that was actually a Thunderbolt. I know a lot of people are gonna probably do the but actually over like U.S. Agent and Taskmaster, because during Norman's Thunderbolts run, both of them were like his lapdogs, but they weren't on the Thunderbolt strike team. They were just sort of Hammer operatives. So people are gonna try and do that. Yeah, Jingo, totally right. The Hulk has looked more off yellow than green lately. That awful scene in She-Hulk season 1 where they are, the very first episode where they're at the beach and she's learning how to be She-Hulk. He looks awful there. Here, I've got it, like right here. Like all of this stuff, he looks so bad. He looks washed. He looks gray, but not in the like cool gray Hulk way. It's just, oh yeah, especially here. Like I've always thought he was super yellowy, washed out there. And don't even get me started. Like that scene when he goes, I think that was a great success in Endgame or whatever. He's very, very yellowy there. Yeah, exactly, Tahillam. Oh look, it's Team Batman. It's the Gotham Knights. Are you not excited for your good Gotham Knights adaptation? I really liked that Ghost. He was really creepy. You couldn't put your finger on him. He was like Ghost. What is that Ghost Cube? I know what you're talking about, but like I can't place it. I know you're gonna let me know, Volume, but I agree. I loved the original Ghost in Marvel Comics. Here, let's pull up a picture of him, because I am right there with you. I loved the original creepy Ghost. Yeah, here we go. We'll pull up his character gallery. Ghost. Wow, that was a really bad voice crack right there. But yeah, you had like, this is so cool. It reminds me a lot of Psycho Mantis from Metal Gear Solid. And yeah, he's intangible. He doesn't talk. Nobody knows his real name. Like he's just pure mystery character. This is the only time we've really seen him. Are those two times. And then every time he's just this weird, like, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is what Volume Dealer's talking about. This version of Ghost is way cooler than the one that, because in the movie, she's just a criminal who can walk through walls. She's not creepy. She's just another criminal. And so yeah, I was so sad that we didn't get him. Come on, that could have been cool. And Andrew, if you're out there, there's your boy Ramos. But yeah, complete waste of the character. And it's kind of too bad because I'll admit this. I think the Ghost actress is very, 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 very cute. I haven't seen her in really anything outside of Ant-Man and the Wasp, but I think she's very, very, very cute. And I wish they did it better. Also, do you know who played this speaking of attractive women in the MCU, do you guys know this one always blows my mind? Do you know who played Taskmaster? This one always freaking blows my mind. Yes, there we go. There we go. The actress behind Taskmaster is freaking Olga Kurylenko, who was she was the Bond girl for Quantum of Solace way back in the day. So like, she is a genuinely gorgeous woman, and I don't know why you went and messed up her face for no reason and threw her behind a helmet. And it's just sort of all baffling, just all around baffling decisions out of the Marvel casting room. That almost sounded dirty, and I didn't mean it dirty. I mean literally nobody knows how to cast over there. Yep, Jingo was right. MCU has so many times where they make a bad looking version of the comic costume and make fun of it. Oh, what was it? The one that was sticking out in my mind when I was doing that sort of rundown, Jingo, was there. Jessica Jones, they do it where she has like her costume, and Patsy goes like, "Oh my gosh, you're gonna wear that again?" Like, there's that. There's Captain America did it when they put him in the comic accurate costume for the USO shows, and it was all dumpy looking. Yeah, like there's a lot of those, and I hate it all the time, because we as the people who enjoy this stuff, like I was saying, we take it seriously. We understand the context of the story. We suspend our disbelief. We go into that world. So for you to come in and go, it's basically, I'm sure you are all sick of me bringing this analogy up, but it's seriously the best analogy I've ever sort of stumbled on. But if you've ever had, imagine you're talking with your buddies, right? And the conversation of wrestling comes up, and everybody starts talking. Did you see that match? Did you see that fight? Did you hear what Asuka said on Twitter to Triple H or whatever? I don't know. I need either Jacob or Kevin or Marvin the Movie Monster over here to do my wrestling info. But somebody, you guys are all talking about that, and then there will be a guy that comes up and he goes, "You guys all know wrestling is fake, right?" It's like, dude, we know. Everybody understands that, and we are all having this conversation with that understanding. You're not doing anything here. All you're doing is coming into this conversation to sort of prove yourself smarter than the rest of us, to huff up your own farts, right? Because we all know, realistically, superhero costumes are, and yeah, I'm using superhero costumes as a particular topic, but anything, superpowers, super teams, super villains, whatever, we recognize that if somebody in real life went out in spandex tights and ran around and was kicking people, it would be a little goofy. But because we know the setting and we understand the world, we all go, that's fine, we can roll with it, we can have this conversation without needing to stop every 5 seconds to go, aren't comic book costumes a little ridiculous in the real world? Yes, but we all know that. We don't need you sitting there going, I'm so smart, costumes are so stupid, colors are so dumb. Like, it's just annoying, and it serves no one. These people can't accept the fiction they want to adapt. The insanity with that logic is too high. I mean, I've talked about this a lot. When oftentimes, or at least nowadays, the people who are looking to adapt things they don't want to share the credit with whatever comic book story came out. If I'm a new director who gets hired to, let's say, direct the Scarlet Spider movie, for some reason somebody heard Spencer Mav, the Make-A-Wish kid, said, I just want to see a Ben Reilly movie before I died, and Marvel decided to do one good thing, and they said green light, and they said, Spence, like me, like this guy, I'm a new character B, you go and you're going to be our director for it. You're going to be the writer director. You're going to you're the one behind this. Your name's going to be attached to it. I'm going to go, okay, I want the Scarlet Spider movie. Again, the character B is the typical Hollywood fart sniffer. They go in and they go, all right, I could just adapt this. I could adapt the Clone Saga and all this stuff, but then I have to share writing credits with Bill Jemas and Tom DeFalco and all of those other creators that were running around during that time. I can't say, yes, this is my creation, this is my story. And because there's so much ego running the town literally nowadays, that's what they care about. They want it to be their thing. They want to use these projects as stepping stones. So they don't want to say, I made a great product based on somebody else's thing. They said, I want to make a great product based on my own idea because I'm so great. Remember, a lot of the people in Hollywood, especially the ones in charge of nerd productions, are people who wanted to enter the entertainment industry with the hopes of being Scorsese, Tarantino, somebody whose work is regularly touted and everybody goes, you're the greatest. But when they didn't have the chops for that or didn't want to put the work in for that, they got scuttled to, you know, what is essentially, unfortunately, in America viewed primarily as kids' entertainment. And so they get resentful and they go, I don't really care about this. I need to elevate this material. And it's a combination of ego and bitterness and inability to take L's. And it's just, I am every day hoping for some sort of industry collapse over in Hollywood, in video games, in comic books, to get real creativity and real genuine passion back up on the screen. Because you might not make the best quality movie of all time or the best book or best game, but if I know that you went in with the best intentions and you were genuine and you're not trying to attack anybody or whatever, that goes so far in my book in giving you credit. I can go, maybe it wasn't for me, but I can understand why it's good, why people liked it, so on and so forth. So I really want to get back to that zone. Caleb says, I also use a lot of black in relation to deconstruction stories. Oh yeah, easy, because it's the opposite, the visual opposite of colors. If you're deconstructing something colorful, throw them in black and white, very easy. Oh yeah, Volume D, we were talking about it earlier. The plot isn't being shown in the trailer. Sentry is the plot. They show the little, it's like right here. Somebody like plays with a Sentry. Oh, there it is. The Sentry bangle, or not bangle, like belt clip thing. So, oh yeah, Sentry is definitely there. It's not even a secret at this point, considering all the marketing and all of the stuff they've been doing. So, just a matter of time. And that's what we were saying, Volume Dealer. Like, I don't care about this ghost. I care about Sentry. I like Sentry. I like Lewis Pullman. I'm just very afraid that they're going to play him as a goofy character rather than a tragic drug addict, like, crazy character. Volume says, what I want to know is why fake Taskmaster's face isn't being shown and why Bucky's hair is way longer in the movie poster. Oh, is it? Let's look that up. Thunderbolts poster. Oh man, you're not kidding. His hair is way longer in the poster. Hey, bring it back. Bring it back. Oh yeah, his hair is way. He looks sort of okay. To our point, Volume Dealer, I think two things here. He looks like, yeah, his hair is longer here. You're right, but he also looks generally more rugged and more like, again, that Bucky in the trailer. This is a Bucky who has gone to a salon. This is a Bucky who said, "Give me make me. I have long hair. Give me a good hairstyle. Can you nicely groom my facial hair and all that stuff." This is one who I believe, like, that looks like a Bucky who's on the run, who's been fighting and battling to do stuff for forever. But as to why, I didn't mean to take that down, why Taskmaster's face isn't being shown, two very easy explanations for that. One, unfortunately, it's just a fact of life. People are not very... Seeing somebody with a hyper-scarred face is not a selling point. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being scarred or having a deformity, and everybody... Like, I'm touchy on the subject because I don't know if you guys saw this right now, but earlier today, a news story came out where a guy who had like his eye blown off and now he has like a skin graft over it. He tried to go to a restaurant and the owners came out and were like, "Hey, you're disturbing everybody. Can you leave?" And I'm like, that's fucked up. You should never do that. That's disgusting. But then there is also the reality I am addressing, which is, unfortunately, visual deformities and scarring like that are visually unappealing to the standard audience, and that's not going to make them want to go engage with a happy-go-lucky superhero film. If it was a horror thing or a drama, different story. But because it's a MCU sitcom, they're going to have different expectations. So there's that, and they're just not Taskmaster is just not recognizable without their helmet. Unfortunately, the MCU one at least, because they don't have a costume. The costume is that mask. So that's why they have it on there. Let's see. Yeah, exactly, Jingo. The good kids movies and shows are okay to show kids and adults, can still enjoy and isn't dumbed down. And yeah, that's exactly what I was getting at with Primal, where like it's for kids. Like Transformers 1 is for kids, but it's kiddie. It leans a little more on the younger, not so serious. You guys, if you see Transformers 1, you'll know what I mean. Let's see. Volume Dealer says, I'm off the stand ship with him being involved with that Trump smear biopic. I get it. That's fine. I don't really care about people's political leanings like that. So I also heard that movie is pretty good. And and the reality of the situation is Trump's not a good person. So there's probably going to, if you do a biopic on his life, you are going to show that he did some really shitty things. Again, you guys know me here. I'm not a fan of any politician. Left, right, I think everybody right now has all of their heads up their asses. I don't like Trump. I don't like Kamala. I don't like Biden. I don't like any of these jerks. But I'm also not somebody who's just going to get behind and sort of gas up someone's cult of personality just because they oppose the people that we oppose, right? That's how we end up with with the worst people acting as our representatives. Okay, I'm going to bring this up because I have no other real place to point it out, but this is the sort of shit I have been railing against for months, and now we just have sort of the best, like, display of what I was talking about. So, the general thing that got me here is that mention of we need to stop letting people who just say things we like or things we agree with, we need to stop just willy-nilly going, oh man, they're the best, we got to promote them up, we should put them at the forefront of our movement, they need to be our representatives. When that happens, it makes it way too easy for people who just grift or don't take it seriously or who just say things. Because guys, I could just say things. I can go on Twitter right now and say, guess what? Ubisoft's next game is going to be woke. And I don't have to back it up because I'm just farming rage. I'm just farming engagement. So, let's see. Where is it? I'm almost there. I need to find 2 tweets, and I found the first one. Now I'm just going through the timeline to find the second one. I know it's roughly around here. Boop boop doo boop doo 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 doo. Okay, so like there are too many people where they say a good thing or they fight against the opponent that we fight against, and people go, oh man, you should be the representative for our movement, with no fact checking, with no background looking, with no actual, no care for quality of the representative. They just want somebody out there fighting for them. And that, in the end, I think that does such a massive disservice to any cause, right? Whether that's, trying to get our entertainment back or running a political campaign, because it just shows when your biggest representative is just full of hypocrisy and just says shit, it shows that you have a lack of principle. And even if it seems like in America right now or in the world right now, principles are out the door, people still deep down understand what principles are. And even if they can't express it, they're going to be able to recognize it. So I bring this up because this week, one of my favorite such individuals did it again. He gave me this gift. So if you're a regular watcher of this show, you know I am not a fan of Mark Kern. I respect him for the work he put in while he was back at Blizzard. I respect the work that I acknowledge him for the work he does highlighting some of the issues that are in video games right now. But largely, I think that this is an individual who found a way to easily grift off of people, a niche where he could express himself and everybody would just clap for everything. And I say this not just because I disagree with some of his takes, but I look at the way he engages with people, the way he engages with rhetoric. We have, there are documented instances of Kern going out and saying, censorship for my enemies. I don't want censorship for my stuff, but you should be censored. Or I don't want people who disagree with me getting jobs in the video game industry. Why are they, allowed to do this? It's all the stuff that we, on our side fought against for all these years. This is exactly what the left would do to anybody who watched a Trump speech. Do we not remember what happened to our girl Kara Lynn over at the Rippaverse? She worked for Limited Run Games, and just because she followed some conservative accounts, not even not InfoWars or like Dom Luker, Breaker of Chains, who's also kind of a moron, like very banal Tucker Carlson, Fox News, the Babylon Bee, Libs of TikTok, like just the most baseline conservative things. And they said, get her out of there, fire her. So Kern is basically, in recent months, shown himself to have sort of that level of principle of rules for thee, not for me. It only matters if I win and I get what I want. And then that's to say nothing of the fact that he, go look up all the stuff about his game, about Ember. He's not working on it. It all looks like shit. He's scammed thousands of dollars from people so far, and he refuses to earnestly engage with anybody who criticizes him. The last guy who said, hey, I put together a YouTube video of all these points. Could you address them? If you address them about your game, we can put this all behind us and everybody will be happy. I'll be happy. Your critics will be happy. Your fans will be happy. And all Kern could do in response was say, fuck you. Give me your real name. I'm not talking to you unless you give me your real name and address so I can give it to my lawyer. He tried to shut him down through political intimidation. So this is not the kind of person I think that video game, like the video gaming hobby, should have as the face of their representative. Because if let's say he gets put in charge of something someday, what's he going to do? He's just going to ban anybody who doesn't particularly agree with him? Is he going to, censor a fat character's design without actually thinking about it because it's just that doesn't go with what he wants to see? There's no principles here, and personally, I just don't think anybody who's this willing to abandon principles or ignore principles is a great representative. But more to the point, more to why I bring it up now. So, in support of all that, earlier this week we got news of the Horizon Zero Dawn remaster, which is fine, whatever. I know some people like that game. I didn't really care for it. I probably won't pick this one up. But in response to that announcement, this Twitter account, Pirate Nation, shared this comparison of the original Aloy and the remastered Aloy with all the new graphical upgrades, right? Early PS4 game versus mid to late life PS5 remastered title. So obviously, Aloy looks better. There's better lighting. Her face isn't as sharp, or like the lighting isn't as like cutting on her face. Overall, some improvement, or like improvements. It does look like an improvement. In response to this, right? And so Aloy gets an improved look. Now, if you'll remember, one of the big discourses around the release of Forbidden West was, oh look, Aloy is getting chubby or whatever. Like, oh look, she's got fat face, and that led everybody to lose their minds. That was a big culture war point that I sort of stayed out of because I was like, I don't even see it. But Kern takes notice of this today, or the other day, and he goes on. He says, "You're not allowed to have Aloy as you remember her. Everything must be destroyed and remodeled for the new modern audience," which is crazy to me because like this is the stuff. So I don't understand why. First of all, I don't understand why he's getting angry. This is what he wanted, right? He wanted Aloy to look better. So it's weird for him to go like everything must be erased. But then earlier in the day, so after this post goes out, another individual takes notice of it and laughs because it's like they bring up this old comparison image and they say they make her look like the incel edit with makeup, which incel edit a little strong, but I do think if you guys saw this trend going around where it was like, let's make all the video game characters beautiful, and it was like they ran them through AI and they all just ended up looking like the most heavily make-upped Instagram models of all time. Like, I thought that, and everybody went, they look so much better. I was like, you guys are kind of stupid. That doesn't look better. It's just not frumpy. That's, if your standard is that, then you don't really have standards. You just want to win a fight. But then, in response to this, Grums goes, Wokies are mad that they put makeup on Aloy. Well, Grums, didn't you just get mad about that? Weren't you just complaining that you're not allowed to have Aloy as you remember her? This is what I mean. He just takes up whatever side in this moment can win him attention or praise. And yeah, so like this pisses me off. Stop sucking from his tea. Like, to everybody, we can do so much better than listening to someone who genuinely doesn't really seem to be putting their money where their mouth is. I know that was sort of a tangent, but I had to do it because this thing has been on my mind, and I have had no people. I've had no other outlet to talk about that. Let's see. Reeve, what is up? That dog is here in tribute to the fact that he was symbioted this week. Go back and go rewind the top of the stream. You'll get the explanation. But the dog is we're praying for the best. We're praying for the best. Yep, Ghost was an Iron Man villain. Jingo's even got this here. The first Ghost design that kind of looked like Moon Knight was good. And had that design in the Iron Man show, Armored Adventures. Dude, you might be the only other person I know, Jingo, who remembers Armored Adventures exists, because I love that show. I am such a big fan of Armored Adventures, and I'm so sad that it never really ended. Like it's over, but it never got a good, satisfying conclusion because it was just canceled. It didn't end. Let's see. Primal One says, speaking of DC, I watched a video on DC not owning the rights to Batman with TV media. It goes in depth on the history of the rights of Batman when it comes to TV series. Yeah, I think I know which video you're looking at. I can't remember who did it off the top of my head. It was on my timeline the other day. But yeah, if you guys do want to look into that, there is a distinct reason why why Batman isn't appearing in a lot of TV shows, why he doesn't show up in costume in things like Arrow or Gotham or the old Birds of Prey show, if you remember that. So it's a fascinating look into the thing we always talk about and complain about here, which is like rights issues and licensing. I'm not going to say it's going to make you a fan of the licensing system. It's just a very interesting look into how that all broke down. Yep, exactly, Primal. Explains why they never show Batman in any series since Adam West days. Yeah, Bob Layton Iron Man covers used to be the best things to see at the comic shop, especially when Iron Man was sort of one of the lone robot heroes or like tech heroes before everybody had like an Iron Man suit or something. You saw man in like metal armor punching other like tech villains. It was super cool. I'm right there with you. Yep. There's also a way to make faithful costumes look good. There are some cosplayers and Bat in the Sun who can make suits better than the movies. 100%. But you know what the difference there is, Jingo? It's that those cosplayers, the folks over at Bat in the Sun, they love this stuff. They're able to go, yeah, superheroes in the real world might be a little goofy, but we're going to take it seriously. They're not constantly looking over their shoulder going, is this funny? Do you guys like this? Is this what you want? So that's why we get such amazing things. I mean, I bring it up every time, and it's a little hard to in our sphere considering how conservative, I guess, a lot of our friends are, and I mean that in the nicest way. Because what I'm about to bring up is whenever the conversation of movie costumes come up, movie superhero costumes and all that stuff, I always love to bring up as my example of who can do it right, porn director Axel Braun. So he's Axel Braun is a longtime adult film director. He's done a bunch of superhero-specific parody stuff, but like, look at these things. Okay, come on. There's got to be. I'm thinking this might be a thread. Well, people are sharing it in his threads or in this thread, but like, there's the Captain America suit with a, if you look over here, we actually get a freaking Diamondback. And there's comic accurate Sam. Remember, this is a pornographic film. Mysterio with the full on hollow foil suit and the like spiky gauntlets and the eye clasps. Look at that Tim Drake over there. I know it's like the Arkham Tim Drake, but still a good Tim Drake. Joker, fine. I mean, I feel like every Joker looks kind of dumpy these days. But then, yeah. Black Cat, his Rogue, Elektra, his Captain Marvel suit is freaking incredible. The Wonder Woman suit he did, that was like the New 52 one. Ladypool, OG Captain Marvel, Phoenix, or rather, Marvel Now Phoenix, 05 Phoenix. So, yeah, Axel Braun, whenever he comes up, he's the one where I'm like, look at this. Look at this. He did the porn parody Taskmaster, and he gave him the like comic accurate stuff straight down to the like skull mold face mask. So, yes, there are complete ways to do comic accurate costumes and stuff and make them look good and even make them be taken seriously. But too many mainstream producers and such, they get scared. They can't bring themselves to do it, and it's to the detriment of all of us. Like, look at that. That's an amazing photon suit. That's so good. And it's in a triple X parody. Yeah, volume. China is She-Hulk. We all remember that one. That one's so funny. Oh, I have safe search off. That's right. We should probably open this up and then jump away really fast. Yeah, China as She-Hulk. She again looks pretty good. I'm not necessarily it's a good depiction of She-Hulk. I'm not necessarily attracted to China, but she looks good. Who are we even talking about? She does look a bit like Nico Avocado. Who were we talking about when you said that? Was it China or was it? Were you talking about Aloy? Aloy. Hey, Nico Avocado surprised us all. He's all skinny and shit. I know it's gonna be terrible for him, and his body's probably gonna give out. But he's skinny. It is what it is. That's right, Shingai. How does a porn parody have better costumes? Primal One says Axel makes amazing costume. It's sad his stuff easily puts Marvel to shame. It's because Axel really, really likes this stuff. Like I've seen interviews with the man, and when he starts talking about the suit designs, he gets really excited. Like his eyes light up when he's talking about, oh, we got inspiration from the comic books for this. So that again, passion and a willingness to take things 100% seriously is a winner for comic book properties and stuff like this. Nick is creepier than Ghost. Which Nick? Are you talking about like Nick Fury as he is now, as the Man on the Moon, or Man on the Wall, if you will? I don't even know what they're doing with like Nick nowadays. I know that they're bringing back White Nick Fury for the Ultimate Universe. The Ultimate reboot is going to have White Nick Fury as their Nick Fury. So, oh yeah. Oh yeah, Nico Avocado. Nico Avocado is creepier than Ghost. Yeah, do not like that man whatsoever. Now I want to see Jada Stevens in one of these outfits. Oh man, if we wanted to go, I have a list of individuals I would like to see cast in an Axel Braun film. Let's just put it that way. Yep, Jingo's got it right. People don't value the characters and stories, but see them as a vehicle to project their message. Maybe it's Nick. Maybe I've always thought it was a Nico Avocado, but that might just be me inserting an O at the beginning to make it rhyme, because for some reason that sits better in my head. No idea. I tend to try and stay away from, like, I don't know, big YouTubers, big personalities. I don't really pay attention to them. Just sort of, like, Nico Avocado, I saw that stuff. My reaction was like, who cares? This man's going to die. Who cares? So, Yeah, anytime I want to look at something with morbid curiosity, I will just go see what Tom King is up to, whatever he's working on in his current book. All right, let's see. I am thirsty. Give me 1 second. Yeah, volume dealer. His belt buckle, but that doesn't even look like an S. Long hair Bucky looks like Aragorn. All that stuff. All right, so we're coming near the end of the show. Not for a while, don't worry. We're just on the latter half. 20 minutes at the very least, probably 30, closer to 40. But with that, let's get into the headline stories, or the main topics that I put in the headline for this episode. Starting with the news, which dropped just before I went live while I was setting everything up. Apparently, according to insiders who spoke to Boris Kitt over at The Hollywood Reporter, and Boris Kitt is somebody who, despite being part of the mainstream when it comes to his entertainment scoops, he tends to be right on the money. He's got a lot of insider sources. According to said sources, we are getting a Deathstroke Bane team-up movie over at DC under James Gunn. So not a lot of information is known about it yet. Obviously, it's still sort of rumor. Gunn hasn't come out and said anything about it. But according to Kit over here, pardon me, it'll be a team-up movie, and it'll be written by one of the writers of the Captain America Brave New World. So that was really the reason I wanted to bring this up. I think a Bane Deathstroke movie has potential. I don't really see the connection between the two characters, except that they are both anti-Batman. I think genuinely Bane has enough of a backstory. He's one of those, the few villains where if you wanted to give them the origin spin-off movie, he would have worked. You know, you would have had his life growing up in Santa Prisca and finding his way out, getting Venom and all that stuff. Could have worked. Throwing Slade in there, we'll see. We'll see how it works out. Obviously, we don't even know what Gunn's Batman plans even are. I don't think there are even any announced Bat projects yet. Everything is still hanging on the Matt Reeves stuff. So all of this is up in the air, but I would be really interested in seeing a comic accurate Bane and another comic accurate Deathstroke on the silver screen. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely thought Joe Manganiello was a great choice for the live action Deathstroke way back in here, let's do that. Deathstroke post credits. What in the Snyder cut, that's where it was. You get Joe Manganiello as Deathstroke. I actually really like Manganiello as an actor. You might recognize him from Spider-Man, where he was Flash Thompson. He was in How I Met Your Mother as Marshall's law school buddy, who he had to go up like in a case against about a polluted lake. So I'm a fan of Manganiello. I was really sad. I also think Deathstroke is one of those few characters where the Snyderverse armored like to extreme look is really cool. Like, so I would have been really excited to see this film. It's sad that it never came to pass, but it looks like we might get another chance at it. But I think Volume Dealer here brings up exactly sort of my feelings on it. I don't even get why this is happening, right? Like, we don't have our Batman. We don't even know what is happening with the DCU, and they've had no metrics yet to decide if things are working or if things are bad. Right? Like that was sort of in a normal world, in a sane world, you would, when you announce a slate of things like that, like Gunn did, where you've got all these movies and HBO series, let those out and breathe and see how they work before you go and you announce we're going to do a lot more. Sort of like the thing we always see where a show gets announced and then it automatically gets renewed for a second season. Like, why did you do that so fast? You don't know if you personally might think this is the greatest thing ever, but is it working for your audience? Is there any retooling that needs to happen? You don't know. I remember Dan Harmon, the guy behind Community and Rick and Morty, he pitched another animated series, I believe, to Fox. It was called Crapopolis, and it was like a Dan Harmon style comedy about ancient Greece, but with all the myths and gods and stuff were hanging out and were around. It looked like a really stupid concept. Here, let me let's do. So yeah, like it just seemed like generic Rick and Morty crap, but edges sanded off Rick and Morty crap because it was going to Fox proper rather than something like Adult Swim. This show got renewed for like 3 or 4 seasons before an episode ever aired. It sticks to me as like just one of the the Crapopolis stuff sticks to me as one of the most like, what are you guys thinking decisions in recent entertainment history? You're dedicating millions if not billions of dollars, because multiple millions over multiple seasons and paychecks and whatnot, to this project that most people reacted to with Imagine if when Star Wars Outlaws came out, when that first trailer dropped and everybody said, this looks kind of boring. All of the culture war stuff aside, everybody saw that game and went, this is boring. We don't really care about Star Wars. This isn't exciting. Imagine after that if Ubisoft went, okay, by the way, Outlaws isn't out yet, but we're greenlighting 4 sequels, a mobile spinoff, a trading card game, and a remaster. You would have been like, what the hell are you guys doing? Like, the reaction was meh. Why are you pushing this? Who thinks it's a good idea? So, yeah, that's really baffling to me that that we're already sort of getting into the Batman stuff when Batman's not even here and we have no idea when or if he'll show up. Yeah, exactly, Primal One. I wouldn't want to fight me either. It's funny you bring that quote up because Shinkai brings up another good point. Joe Manganiello has been cast as Crocodile in the live-action Netflix One Piece series, and I just see everybody sharing pictures of Crocodile against Luffy, being like, I wouldn't want to fight me either, Luffy. Also, side note for my One Piece fans, they keep referring to Crocodile in all the pre-release material as Mr. Zero, and I know that that's his, what do you call it, name? His, oh my god, why am I forgetting the name of his stupid, like, terrorist group? His, oh my god, one of you guys will probably get it to me. But I know that that's his code name, but it's like, but he's Crocodile. He doesn't use that code name after that first appearance, so it's always funny to me. Timon's correct. DC always rushing things. Shinkai goes, how this gets greenlit, but Infinity Train gets cut. Sometimes they are allergic to money. Yes, thank you, Timon and Shinkai. Baroque works. I knew I had it, but I knew I was not going to get it. They are allergic to money at times, it seems. A lot of these decisions make sense if you think of them from marketing perspectives. Like, oh, let's get a Deathstroke movie, so then we can sell Deathstroke comics and Deathstroke toys and Deathstroke cereals. But I feel like a lot of these people overestimate characters' popularity or the current audience attitude towards this stuff, because I don't know. Bane and Deathstroke are noted villains, but Bane probably a little bit more than Deathstroke. It just, yeah, I'm at a loss for words with this decision. Maybe we'll get some more info. It's all on Gun now, but next movie in the Slayer is Crisis on Infinite Earths 2. Next movie in the Slayer? Do you mean in the player? Oh, in the slate, yeah. Crisis on Infinite Earth 2. For you to watch, or are you talking about like they'll probably live action it at some point? I imagine that my prediction is that we will get a Crisis movie out of the Gunn universe, because at some point Gunn's plans are just going to get unruly and out of control, and they're gonna do what, like, yeah, they're just gonna Crisis it. They're gonna reboot it all, like they're gonna do with the Secret Wars in Marvel. Dang, guy. Okay, this just. Let me pull up this picture, because I was closing the windows where I had everything else, but one of the windows I had open was the actual Braun Google search, Look at this. This is from the Suicide Squad parody. Look at this Killer Frost. This is awesome. Right? Like, that's a genuinely good Killer Frost cosplay. Even if this wasn't like an adult film, if you saw that cosplayer at a con, you'd be like, that's awesome. I know you. You are Killer Frost. So, yeah, just more Axel Braun love that we can show him. So, I don't even remember what we were... Oh, yeah, we were back here looking at this stuff. No worries, volume dealer. I just wanted to make sure. That's exactly what I'm saying, Andrew. DC isn't in a comfortable enough position to be playing around like this. They don't know what they have on their hands right now. Outlooks are positive for Superman Legacy, but that's film number 1. How many cinematic universes have we seen crumble after film number 1? Do I have to bring up the Dark Universe? Like, my favorite thing ever? Don't make me go get the promo photo. So, like, it's putting a lot of eggs in. It's counting your eggs before they hatch, and it's selling your eggs before you even buy the chickens. So they're like, they got to be banking really hard here, and it's surprising that your big bank is going to involve the scriptwriter from Captain America: Brave New World. It just seems very odd, very confusing. I don't know if I'm in a spot yet to say it's good. Like, I think it's good or it's bad for DC overall. It's just very odd, and I think it puts them in a precarious position. If by some miracle they're able to pull off all of their slate, and let's say 90% of it is baller and makes sense and all works together, then I think this film has a chance of doing something well. But unfortunately, the other thing is, you make this movie, you're going to get the Joker effect, which is this. Okay, if you make this movie, it's not even the Joker effect. It's going to be worse than the Joker effect, because when the Joker came out, everybody understood that was a solo movie. It's disconnected from Batman. We're just going to have the Joker. This movie is in the shared universe that all of these superheroes were supposed to be in. So if you do Bane and Deathstroke, it's the Poochie joke. Everybody's going to go, where's Deathstroke? Where's Deathstroke? Where's Batman? Where's Batman? Where's Batman? So I feel like you've got to have your Batman first before you do this. Or you introduce these guys in some other character's movie, and then you have him reappear as a main antagonist for a Batman movie, right? Maybe Deathstroke gets in a fight with... What series are even in fucking development? With Booster Gold, right? Booster Gold goes out to stop a crime, and the first person he encounters is Deathstroke, and Deathstroke hands his ass to him. And so Booster Gold has to accept, like, oh, I need to be a better hero. I'm not a great hero yet. And Deathstroke gets to have his moment of, look at how much of a badass I am, moment that establishes him as a threat. Yeah, right, Shinkai, that Killer Frost has me melting. It is so good. It's so good. Andrew asks, which scriptwriter for Brave New World? Let's look at that up. Matthew Orton, a scribe on the upcoming Captain America Brave New World movie. Disney has a history of pre-writing their scripts and then telling the contracted writer to finish it. They don't get much creative control. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a big thing out of Disney. We know that especially because... and I think it was first noticeable with Captain Marvel when they brought on that indie director duo, and they were like, they just made a great indie movie. We're going to give them Captain Marvel. And after that, every director would come out and be like, yeah, we were just there to say shoot. All of the story was done. All of the direction was done. All of the fight scenes and stuff were already like in with the CG artist by the time I even saw the contract. So like that's a big old whole chunk of worms, which is the fact that Disney doesn't have creators anymore. We see that they're sort of maybe trying to take a change to that. They did give Born Again like a dedicated showrunner, a dedicated producer, a dedicated director, creative team, all that. So maybe they're learning, but yeah, that's been a big problem, is that they just write their stuff and then they go and fix it in post, fix it in editing. So this is what we've got out of Mr. Matthew Orton. We have the TV series The Devil's Peak. I have never heard of it. One episode of Moon Knight. The movie Operation Finale.
a team of secret agents set out to track down the Nazi officer who masterminded the Holocaust. Might be cool. Who's in this? Oh, Oscar Isaac, Ben Kingsley, Nick Kroll, Melanie Laurent, Peter Strauss. That's actually a sizably decent cast there that you got, Mr. Orton. So he wrote that. He's got a couple other things in the works, obviously with Captain America. He was a producer on all those other 3 things. So I don't know. I've not seen any of these things. So I can't really weigh in on his actual writing talents. I will say, if I'm playing sort of the odds right now, I do know that Moon Knight was more of a people liked Moon Knight more than a lot of the Marvel slop that has been thrown our way post Endgame, and so knowing that, maybe there's some hope here. Who is in this show? Hilton Pelser. I don't know any of you people, so that's okay. Oh wait, is this freaking? Oh no, it's not him. I thought this was the dude who played Darwin in First Class. For a second. Oh, it's that guy. Wow, it's Jin. In the live action Netflix. So who knows where it could go at this point. The guy just does not have enough to look at right now to make a call one way or another. I think the presence of Operation Finale and Devil's Peak on his resume suggests that he probably has a good handle on writing stories about stopping like intricate, deep big bads instead of just like cartoony comic book sort of big bads who are just like, grr, I'm evil, like, you know, ones with deep, intricate plans and stuff. So might be cool, but yeah, as I said, sort of just question marks. I really do not know what to make of this entire situation. Wait until Gunn says something, because there have been a lot of rumors that Gunn has been debunking. There was that one where Rich Johnston over at Bleeding Cool was like, I hear from my contacts that Gunn's going to be writing a comic. And Gunn came out today. He's like, I would die. I just do not have the energy, the time, any of that to write a fucking comic book on top of all the DC work I am doing. So who knows? As long as they handle it well, I'll be open to it. It's just, this is very precarious. Also, I went this entire discussion without mentioning it. Deathstroke and Arrow, one of the best freaking villains of all time, best adaptations, best takes on the character. I love Deathstroke in Arrow. I am kind of the belief that Arrow went massively downhill once Deathstroke and the Mirakuru plot lines all sort of fizzled out. Like, after that, it was time to make way for the metas, for Flash, for Supergirl, for all that. I think they got the timing pretty right, but yeah, I love that Deathstroke so much. Shinkai also brings up a good point. Deathstroke did get a good animated movie. What was that called? Deathstroke, like Knights and Dragons and Knights and Dragons, or something like that. It was part of not the Tomorrowverse, but whatever the like Dark Side War animated continuity was. It was part of that. And I remember I did like that movie. I like Deathstroke as a character. I think you have a lot to do with him. The problem is, I think he is so connected to other DC characters, like Teen Titans and Robin and Batman, that it's a really hard sell to do a Deathstroke solo thing first before having any mention of Batman, especially when you have no plans for a Batman thing. Like, I think this would be a mite different if they already went, all right, we have a couple Batman movies coming down the patch, you'll see him in these years, and then they went, oh, by the way, we're going to introduce some of his rogues in their own projects. And you go, okay, makes sense. But for now, without a confirmation of Batman, and with the ever juggling of the rights issue that who brought that up to me earlier? I think that was Primal One who brought up the rights issue, and the fact that this will have HBO series and all that. Who knows what will happen with Batman? So this just sort of like I don't want this to turn into something like the Dark Universe, where it started as a setup to something bigger, and then because plans failed, we get left with a very awkward, like, oh, this is a partial project, if you will. Yes, Primal, I 100% agree. Slade from the Teen Titans cartoon reigns supreme. I'm sorry. Easily the best depiction. There's just no getting around it. I was looking for clips from stuff for our last call for tonight, and I ended up going back to the Teen Titans two-parter where Robin decides to go train under Slade. And I'd only meant to like jump around and look for clips, but I ended up watching both of them because it's just so good and compelling. There we go. Shinkai's got it. Deathstroke, Knights, and Dragons. Yes, that's what it was. So, yeah, check it. Deathstroke can be a good character. He has some decent solid adventures, or some decent solo adventures. Just sort of a bit of an odd move. I'm willing to hear you out, Gun, but on the jump, I think it's a bit of an odd move. A bit of an odd move. Sorry about that. Let's see. Oh, man, we're already at the 2-hour mark. All right, so with us getting at the 2-hour mark, let's... what do I want to even touch upon that? You know what? The secondary main topic for tonight was going to be the ongoing collapse of Ubisoft, but now that I think about it, now that we're running up a little bit on the end of the show, we're kind of pressed for time, and the fact that this is a topic that everybody and their mothers is discussing around the sphere. You probably don't need to hear it from me. You'll probably hear me talk a lot about it over on the Bounding Into Comics channel, where we have the 01 stream every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Don't worry, that's not the outro. I have my proper outro, but I think the only thing I'm going to put a stamp on here with the recent Ubisoft, Sony, just all the video game discussions that happened this week in particular, Ubisoft is in trouble. I have no sympathies. This is them reaping what they sowed after years of screwing over players, of lowering the quality of their developments, of their games, of their releases in favor of quick and easy microtransactions, cash grabs, all that sort of. I like that, Timon. The 01. It does roll off the tongue like that. So Ubisoft is in a death spiral. All of their moves about releasing Assassin's Creed Shadows Day 1 on Steam, about bringing Outlaws to Steam, about having to put more work into Outlaws, delaying Shadows, it's not looking hot for them. I'm going to be honest, I don't really, if it comes down to it that they go out of business and Ubisoft is no more, it's going to be a historic moment for video games, but I don't think I personally will give a shit, because I have not cared about a Ubisoft franchise or release in... God, when was the first Mario and Rabbids? Like 2014? Maybe that was like the last Ubisoft game, but Far Cry, Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed, it's all low effort garbage. So I really am not going to shed a tear if that all disappears. If you can improve those games and if you can make Far Cry back into the open, like, attack, jungle, deserted survivor simulator it was in the first two games, maybe we can talk. If you can make Assassin's Creed break the mold and do an actually interesting experience that isn't just running up towers, unlocking your map, and then stabbing somebody, then we can talk. But as it is right now, Ubisoft is sort of just... the other thing to I want to note real quick is the in here. Let's get a visual aid just for this last bit, because I feel like it's confusing to look at Deathstroke while we talk about video games, considering I think he was only in Injustice 2, where he had the most busted ass sword attack ever. It was so long, like it could hit you from from quarter screen. Earlier this week, you all knew, or you've probably all seen the news, that we are getting a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yotei. no longer set in the Mongol invasions of 1247, jumping 300 years to the mountains of Hokkaido, probably going to be dealing with the colonization of the Ainu people by the who was it, Hideyoshi shogunate at the time. So very a cool new setting, could be interesting, might be cool. A lot of people have been losing their mind over the fact that this character, so there's been a lot of backlash to the announcement for two reasons. One, a lot of people said, oh, look, you're going woke because this is a female protagonist. Why aren't we Jin anymore? And to that, I say, you guys are being reactionary. This doesn't help anybody. Female characters have existed. We can have female characters in stories. We can have strong female characters. It's all about how they're used and written. I don't think this character is going to go, her name's Atsu. She's not going to go around berating the patriarchy or saying Jin was the worst person of all time. We're not going to see a broken Jin that she has to go and revive and show how great the world is. Like, none of that is happening. We don't know what's happening. All we know is that she's a woman. So I've mentioned this around a couple streams this week, but I really think anybody reacting to this and going, oh, it's woke because there's a woman, I think those individuals, I understand, I truly do, where your sensitivity is coming from, especially in recent years, but staring into the abyss and becoming a monster and then fully embracing that monster isn't the way to go, right? I know a lot of people, when it comes to culture wars, go, well, if they do it, we should be able to do it. But I mean, come on, guys, we read superhero comics, we follow this media, we know that if you start going and playing in the dirt, in the mud with them, you just become them. And I don't want that. I want us to get back to a spot where we're making good things again, where we can see somebody can make a creative decision and everybody will go, instead of jumping to conclusions, let's wait and see what happens. How many times have we seen the, race activists go, oh, that character, the minority character, the black character isn't the lead. This is racist. And it's like, well, you don't even know how they're being used. Why don't you calm down and not jump down our throats for that? So I just think the reaction's been a little too strong around this game. I'm very interested to see what they do with the setting, because they did really well with the historical accuracy of Ghost of Tsushima. So this can hopefully only go upwards. The second thing is that a lot of people have been losing their minds over the fact that the actor, the voice actor, the motion capture actor for Atsu here is your stereotypical, like, raging social media activist, right? Pronouns in bio, flags in bio, always talking about representation. She personally wears a real world version of the lobotomy cut. So everybody, after seeing Yachts, like a female protagonist, a lot of people went, oh, let's look into this. Oh, look at the actress. She's woke. So this game is over. This is trash. They all hate you. And to that I say, what are we fucking doing here? Like, she's just the motion capture actress. Unless she starts writing that into the script, there's no need for concern. Because if you follow that to its logical conclusion, you're just going to go, anybody who disagrees with me should not have a job. Nobody I disagree with should ever work in anything I enjoy. And to that, the harsh reality is everything you have enjoyed in the past year, week, whatever, somebody in the chain of production does not agree with your politics, probably hates your politics 100%. I'm almost positive that one of the cooks at a restaurant I go to is going to have super liberal, maybe even communist leanings. I'm positive that a lot of the developers who are working to keep Fortnite up or design the models are, they espouse DEI and they love talking about representation. And you know what? That's just going to be living in the world. People are going to disagree with you. To me, I think it only really matters once it starts affecting the product. And from what we've seen so far, we're not seeing any of that in the product. And as long as that stays out, I think this is all just reactionary alarmism. And a lot of the people who've reacted to this, on this note of, oh, look at the actor, look at the fact that it's not Jin anymore. I think a lot of these individuals, I'd say probably about a third of, or 3/4 of them are just players who have been burned and burned and burned and time again. The other quarter are individuals who are are preying on that, being burned and trying to get you angry and trying to justify relevance. And if you want, like, this is just a general statement. I'm just sort of like putting my stamp on it. If you want to engage in dumb social media drama and fling shit and yell at each other, fine. But I'm not going to do that, and it doesn't help anybody. You can go ahead and win your argument, your internet argument, but everybody else standing over here is going, what is wrong with that, like, lunatic? You're handing the people what am I trying to say? One of the most regularly touted, like, defenses that our opponents always can, trot out is they just hate this because it has a woman, because it has a minority, yada, yada, yada. Well, when you react, and we all go, no, that's not what it is. We like female protagonists. We like minority protagonists. It all depends on the writing. When this sort of reaction pops off and everybody leaps to defend it and say, no, we're in the right for reacting this hysterically, you just gave them all the ammunition they need. It doesn't matter how many, like, justifications you can say, oh, all these 70 games did it before. Just reacting to something where there is no overt hint of it and tilting at a windmill is going to set us all back. So, again, I just needed let's see. I just needed a moment to talk about that, because I just think I think the reactions are just going way too far here. Okay, but see, this is the thing, Primal. So Primal's saying, like, yeah, her history worries me because a lot of people involved in things like that, the product ends up being crappy. But that's what I'm saying. She doesn't have creative input. She's not writing the script. She's not directing the game. She is there to, what do you want me to say and where do you want me to move? Got it. So because of that, as long as she's not bringing that into the actual creative process and injecting it into the script, as long as I don't get some ham-fisted discussion of, like, I don't want 2024 ACAB rhetoric being used in my 1300s Japanese game. Like, even if you could make a comparison, like, I don't want it there because it's just breaking all of that. But her just having these leanings doesn't necessarily mean she's going to be she's going to do a bad job or the overall product is going to be bad. I bring him up all the time. But Mark Waid, comic book writer, Kingdom Come, The Flash, currently on World's Finest. He is a certified TDS insane person. Wishes death on all of his opponents, writes off everybody as nothing but MAGA, screeches and screeches about the alt-right in comic books all day. Genuinely just like an unpleasant person. But that man has delivered some of the best comic books I've read in the recent years. World's Finest is an amazing, hands-down, objective comic book. Yeah, Mark Waid would probably meet me and hate me and want nothing to do with me, but I can still enjoy his work because it's still, as long as his work isn't delving into politics and, preaching at me, we're good to go. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's sort of the end stamp on all this, right? Is let's wait and see. That truly is all we can really do. And again, I don't blame people for taking a wait and see approach and going, this could be a sign. This could be a sign. But it's gone from caution to this is happening and we need to stop it at all costs, no matter what. And it's like, okay, now you guys are just kind of, again, the Don Quixote reference. You're tilting at windmills. Bingo, bango, bongo, Andrew. More voices of reason are needed. And that's sort of what I hope to instill right now. I'm not here to chastise anyone for having their opinions or for, having their fears. But I think there are better ways to go about expressing them and talking about it than just, oh, I see a woman, this game's woke. You need to be able to talk to people and explain to them. And that doesn't make for a quippy catchphrase or a quippy quick slogan, but it at least saves your integrity. It at least saves you from just becoming another part of the dead internet. All right. With that little stamp on video games, I think we are at 2:15. I think that's an excellent place to bring tonight's show to an end. And I think that's what we will do. So, Another week in the bag, guys. Another awesome episode of The Good, the Mad, the Ugly. I'm so thankful for every single one of you who came to hang out with me tonight, who came to talk, who brought your thoughts, your concerns, all of the stuff. I think we had a lot of good talks, a lot of different topics. We had so many different guests. We had Reeve, Corey, Andrew, Zero, Shinkai, Volume Dealer, Primal One. Did I say Jingo? I'm pretty sure I said Jingo, but definitely Jingo. Did I say Volume Dealer? I see you all, guys. I've been talking to you all night. Zero for sure. If I missed your name, it's not because I don't like it. It's because you're all out there. I see you. You're the best. Timon. I think I forgot to say Timon. Did I say Timon? I have no idea. But anyway, yes, that's it for tonight. I hope you guys had a great time. I hope you got some good recommendations. Maybe you go check out some Deathstroke stuff this weekend. As always, right, the reason we host this show is because we spend all the rest of the week just being inundated with crap and bad decisions and attacks from the people in these industries. So I always try to host The Good, the Mad, the Ugly to give us a space to come hang out, talk about everything, get our voices out there, and remember the things that are good. Because we got to remember, for all everything is terrible, there's still some really good things out there for us to enjoy. So with that, everybody, take it easy tonight. Go enjoy your weekend. Have some fun. Go play something. Go read something. If you want to see more of me, obviously you can follow me right down there on Twitter at Kabuto Writer Mav. Streaming schedule. Obviously, next Wednesday, I will be on the 01 stream over on Bounding Into Comics, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time, where I hang out with Cider, Jacob of Society Reviews, and Nerdigans, and we break down the bigger pop culture news of the week. So things like Marvel, movie announcements, Disney, bigger stories, you'll see them over there. Lots of Ubisoft talk happening over there, especially with everything that went down this week. After that, you can definitely find me Thursday over on the Foil Variant channel. Don't know if Andrew is still here to be able to drop the link for me to pop up. It's very, very simple. It is youtube.com/@foilvariant. It is a new channel, a new show where Andrew and I talk comic books every Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific time. You guys can do the math for the rest of them. I have not done any of that. Reeve, I swear I better have said Reeve. I'm going to look back and I know I said Reeve. I had to have said goodbye to Reeve. But if not, Reeve, I'll see you soon. Hopefully you're playing more stuff for me to stream, or you're streaming more stuff for me to watch this weekend, because I've been obviously enjoying everything you've been playing, from Astrobot to Metroid. Then yes, after Foil Variant, you can come back next Friday right here, same Mav time, same Mav channel, for another episode of The Good, the Mav, the Ugly, where we'll talk about whatever comes our way next week. Yes, Reeve, I want to try. We're getting closer. We're getting to the point where I think the streams will start up again. I almost forgot because it has been so long, but because remember we didn't have one before I left for my trip, and then I was gone for a month. But we do have. I'm back with your last call for last minute news clips. So this week, in honor of Deathstroke, I figured we'd just have a short, cool Deathstroke fight scene. If Andrew is around, he will enjoy this one in particular, considering who Deathstroke's opponent is. But yeah, let's get a look at the Terminator.
Losing your edge. Your friends have made you soft. Like I said, soft.
So great, right? Teen Titans: The Judas Contract. It's part of that continuity I was talking about, the Dark Side War 1. Solid quality film, solid quality Deathstroke appearances. And yeah, that's all I have for you tonight. So get out of here, go have fun, enjoy yourselves, and I will see you all very, very soon.
As the creator of Mara Jade,
Wait! I am not the creator of Mara Jade, and I want you to get out of this office right now.
I'm sorry, Zeb.
No way.
You brought
No
it on
way.
You brought it on yourself.
I don't want you here.
I'm so
Out.
sorry, George. I didn't think it would go like this.
Out.
Ted, I got your voucher.
Out! There.
I'm sorry about that. I'm so sorry. We'll have him like burned and we'll
I don't
execute
even know
him.
who that guy is.